These zodiac signs will be under God's protection all their lives. Why do some people seem to have it easier and troubles pass them by? Why do some people seem to go through life under an invisible shield? Even in the most difficult trials, they emerge victorious. The answer lies in the power of the supreme protection. There are zodiac signs, behind which stands God himself. They are not just lucky, they are the chosen ones. Their energy is protected, their path is guarded, their soul is always heard. These people intuitively feel when to stop and when to act. They cannot be broken because there is always an invisible hand above them, guiding, protecting, cleansing the space from evil. They can fall, but they always rise stronger than before. This is not mysticism. This is a deep esoteric truth that cannot be ignored. If you want to know if your sign is among those who will be under God's protection all their lives, watch this video to the end. Subscribe right now if you believe in the power of destiny and want to uncover the secrets of your fate. And write in the comments, have you ever felt that someone is protecting you from above? We read every word. Ready? Now you will find out who heaven gave invisible armor for life. The first sign is Capricorn. The strength of Capricorn is in his ability to stand firm where others break. He does not ask for support, but receives it from heaven, as if an invisible hand is pushing him at the right moment. It is as if someone is always standing behind him, invisible but powerful. When the situation seems hopeless, it is Capricorn who gets a new opportunity. Luck does not save him. He is protected by a higher will that leads him step by step through any difficulties. This sign is not prone to complaints. He prefers to remain silent and do. He does not shout about injustice, but simply continues on his way. And this is precisely why he receives divine protection. His perseverance, discipline, ability to not give up in the darkest moments are the reason why an invisible veil is opened over him. When he goes forward, even through a storm, circumstances suddenly develop as if someone cleared the way for him in advance. Not immediately, but exactly at the right time. Capricorn often faces trials. His life is not easy, but this is where his unique blessing is revealed. What kills others makes him stronger. He does not fall for long. He rises, even if everything around him is destroyed. His heart does not cry, but he knows, behind it, there is something greater than just human will. He does not demand miracles. He himself becomes part of the miracle when he overcomes what seemed impossible. He is never truly alone. Even if no one is around, his decisions are accompanied by a special inner knowledge. This is not intuition or logic. It is an inner confidence that this is how it should be, and time proves that he was right. His path is long, but protected. He is protected when he himself does not realize it. When he stands on the edge, someone always wards off trouble. His protection is not in the ease of the path, but in the fortitude of the spirit. He is like a rock that cannot be moved. This steadfastness is part of his nature, and it is also the reason why he is not touched by the forces that destroy others. People may envy him, not understanding where he gets his strength from. And the answer is simple. He is not alone. Behind him is an invisible force given from above, and this force will not leave him for a moment, until the very end. The second sign of Pisces. Pisces have a special silence inside, in which answers are born. They do not strive for power, but have it. They do not chase recognition, but always find themselves in the center of events that are important. They are not led by logic or a plan. They are led by a hand that is not visible. And those who feel this energy understand. Pisces are not alone. From birth, a divine cover has been assigned to them, which protects them even in the most critical moments. Their soul is like an open book that no one sees except those who are higher. They do not need protection from other people. It is enough for them to trust what comes from within. Their inner voice is not just intuition. It is a transmission of information directly from a source that is beyond understanding. And every time they trust it, they emerge victorious from situations where others are lost. Pisces are not afraid of pain, not because they do not care, but because they know that everything is temporary. This faith does not come from books. It is in their blood. They know that someone hears them. Someone is always there. Someone protects them, even if it seems that everything is falling apart. And this is their special strength. That is why it is almost impossible to break them completely. They worry, suffer, lose, but always return with new strength, with a new vision, with a clear understanding of where to go next. The divine protection of Pisces is manifested not in avoiding problems, but in overcoming them in a timely manner. They often have to go through difficult situations, but at the very last moment, new doors open for them. And this is not an accident. This is a fine-tuning of their life to the rhythm that they themselves do not choose, but which perfectly matches their inner state. Their path is soft but deep. They seem to float, passing traps that others do not notice. They are not interested in fighting. They are not about resistance. They are about acceptance. And it is in this acceptance that they become untouchable. You cannot fight them. They cannot be hit, because the power that protects them is not of this world, and it will be with them until the end. The third sign is Libra. From the very beginning of life, Libra seems to make an invisible agreement with higher powers. They will not cause harm, and they will not be touched. They strive for balance, justice, and internal order. And this is the reason why they receive protection that protects them from chaos and destruction. Their strength is in the desire for harmony, and harmony is always protected by those who are higher. Representatives of this sign often find themselves on the verge of difficult choices, but miraculously make the right step. Not because they have calculated everything, because they felt where there's less evil. Their choice is not a compromise. It is a search for the purest line. And for this choice, they are given special protection. Where others pay a high price for mistakes, Libra miraculously avoids the consequences. It is as if they are forgiven more, because they initially try not to disturb the balance. Even in moments of weakness, when Libra loses balance, they are always given a chance to recover. They are given a second try, a third, a 10th, and it is not because they are lucky. It is because their soul is initially tuned to the light. They do not step on others, do not manipulate, do not cause pain. And this is the reason why they are protected. Their life may be difficult, but there is always a path that leads to salvation. They are protected not from events, but from falls that can destroy. Libras can lose everything, but they remain within themselves. Their spirit is like a pendulum that finds its center again. And every time they are on the edge, someone seems to hold them back, preventing them from collapsing completely. This protection is invisible, but stable, and the older the representative of the sign becomes, the more obvious it becomes that he is not simply protected by fate, he is led by something higher. This is why Libras often become those who bring light into other people's lives. They do not press, they balance. They do not impose, they offer. Their kindness is not theatrical, their actions are not calculated. They simply choose good. And for this, under unflagging protection until the end of their days. The fourth sign is Sagittarius. When a representative of this sign is born, it is as if an invisible force immediately stands next to him, protecting him from fatal mistakes. Sagittarius is allowed a lot, but even in moments of complete unconsciousness, his path is corrected by external circumstances so as not to deviate from the correct course. This protection does not work as a miracle, but as a system. If Sagittarius goes astray, a person comes to guide him. If he gets lost, an opportunity to come to the light suddenly appears. This is not an accident, but a mechanism built into his life plan from the very beginning. Every time this sign finds itself in a situation that could break anyone else, an invisible break is triggered. Cancellation of a flight that crashed, a sudden illness that prevented him from getting to a fateful meeting. Even an accidental loss of something turns out to be a deliverance from consequences that could be irreversible. Sagittarius has a sense of the path built into its genes, and it is synchronized with what others would call divine intervention. In fact, this is protection, constant, subtly working without unnecessary noise. The uniqueness of Sagittarius's protection is in its ability to learn through experience without being destroyed. It is allowed to make mistakes, allowed to fall, but these falls are always with insurance. It does not drown in debt, does not lose everything, even if it behaves riskily. Everything that happens to it is thought out so precisely that even serious life shocks eventually become a start to a new level. It is like a contract. It is allowed to take risks, but within limits that do not violate the main thing, its mission. Sagittarius is not alone even when it feels empty. It can distance itself from loved ones, withdraw into itself, destroy connections, but at some point it is sure to meet those who bring it back into motion. These people are not always pleasant, not always understandable, but each of them appears on schedule. Their goal is to remind Sagittarius that its path is important not only for it. Because his actions change the lives of others, he brings not only his lessons, but also includes the destinies of those around him. That is why special control is established over him. He will not be allowed to disappear into the shadows completely. This sign is capable of not only surviving, it creates events that then become fateful for entire generations. His actions sometimes seem reckless, but the result of these actions is revealed months or years later. And each time it is clear that everything was done correctly, even if logic said otherwise. Sagittarius is assigned access to protection that works through synchronicity, warnings, intuition, and sometimes through sudden jolts that force one to act. He can lose money, things, statuses, but he will never be left without the main thing, an inner core. Even alone, he is not broken. Even without support, he rises. And if a moment comes when it seems that everything is lost, that is when a reboot occurs, organized by an invisible hand. The life of Sagittarius is impossible without falls, but each of them is strictly calculated. He cannot be destroyed. He is under the control of forces that will not allow a final failure. And this protection remains with him until the end, not weakening for a day. The fifth sign is Virgo. This sign never enters chaos without a reason. From the first days of life, Virgo intuitively chooses a path where order, structure, and clear logic determine everything. But few people understand. Behind its precision lies not only intelligence, but also protection that works at a deep level. This is not external armor, but a system of fine-tuning life in which almost everything is subordinated to an invisible plan. Even in moments when it seems that everything is collapsing, Virgo always has a retreat path, a chance, a backup plan. This is not just luck, but a manifestation of constant control on the part of those who lead her through life. The most amazing thing is how often this sign finds itself on the edge but does not cross it. When others burn out, Virgo comes out with new conclusions. When everything is lost, it is she who has the last thread by which she can pull her life back. She can go through bankruptcy, divorce, betrayal, but even in these situations, the point from which recovery begins remains. And this is not an accident. This is a setting that is embedded in her from birth. She is not abandoned, she is not left, because she is part of a larger system of balance. Virgo's specialty is her ability to see what others cannot see. She picks up on signs, senses inconsistencies, notices little things. And it is through this that protection comes. She does not need miracles. Her salvation is in attentiveness. And this is where the superpower comes in. Every time Virgo makes the right choice in a small matter, she activates a more powerful shield that works on a large level. If she doubts, a hint comes. If she loses focus, her attention returns. If she starts to get tired, someone appears who pushes her forward. Even in the most difficult situations, Virgo is not left without support. Her strength is in the details, and it is in these details that the codes of protection are embedded. She may not know this consciously, but she always goes where there is a way out. And even if the path is closed, another one appears, often even more beneficial. It never happens that her life corridor breaks off completely. They watch her, and not to do everything for her, but to prevent her from drowning in what is not for her. Virgo does not need to be saved, she just needs time, and she always has it. No matter how many losses there are, she restores everything, and most often with a profit. Her path is not about ease, but about unbreakability. And the protection that she has appears precisely when it seems that everything is over. At this moment, she remembers who she is and returns to herself, each time stronger, calmer, and more precise. This setting remains with her forever, making Virgo one of the most persistent figures in the system of human destinies.